Oh no, look out, it's Logan Paul. I'm just kidding. This is a terror bird, and they have been extinct for thousands of years. Although considering the revival of the dire wolf, it might not be long until they make a comeback out of literally a game over. No, of course, these guys were apex predators in their environment, which was South America, by the way. Before Paraguay, it was Terraguay. Terror birds actually came in a lot of different sizes. The smallest ones were only around 1 meter in height, and the largest could reach up to over 3 meters in height. Oh shit. I'm messing up my setup over here. For context, ostriches are around 2.7 to 2.8 meters in height, so it would have had a pretty significant advantage even on a giant ostrich. But the biggest difference between terror birds and modern day giant flightless birds were the beaks. Terror birds most likely use their beaks to peck their prey to death, since by looking at the skull of a terror bird it would suggest that their bite force was pretty small, so they had to use it another way, but their beaks were built in a way that could withstand impact, so this again reassures the fact that terror birds in fact did use their beaks to pretty much just hammer animals with this giant sledgehammer head. Now, whether it hunted small, medium, or large prey is debatable, although it is most likely that they hunted small to medium-sized prey. Some experts suggest that it wouldn't have been able to tear flesh from animals with its weak bite force and weak beak. So instead it had to swallow animals whole, which would mean that it most likely hunted for smaller prey. But again, there were a bunch of species of terror birds that existed throughout the ages, so their prey could have differed quite a bit from each other actually, with you know, smaller birds probably preying on smaller things and maybe larger birds getting the more meaty prey and not being little beta cucks. It could have also used its massive feet, take a picture right now, to restrain or scratch up its prey, maybe a bit like a velociraptor or the modern day bird from hell, the cassowary. Now, terror birds were actually really long-lasting animals. They lived and thrived for an extremely long period of time, with the first species appearing right after the tragic event of the asteroid that unfortunately wiped out the coolest things that ever lived. I remember it like it was yesterday. So they appeared about 62 million years ago during the Paleocene. During the Eocene, from 56 to 34 million years ago, they started diversifying in their little isolated continent of South America. During the Oligocene and Miocene, they were in their prime. This is when the largest species of terror birds started appearing, and they were really becoming apex predators. Although I'm sure they were apex predators even before them, but now they're even more of an apex predator. However, after a long time of living the good life, living life on top, being the master of the game, something happened that shook their way of life. The northern and southern Americas combined, or crashed together. This happened around 3 million years ago, and now things like saber-toothed cats, wolves, and bears were free to wander into this new, unclaimed land. And unfortunately, these guys were on another level. The terror birds could not compete with them for long, and about 1 million years afterwards, around 2 million years ago, it went extinct. It went out as the champion of checkers, but it had to compete with chess players, which again might not last long because these absolute maniacs at Colossal are doing the impossible. By the way, tell me your opinion about this whole thing in the comments. I would love to hear other people's viewpoint on this subject. But anyways, I'll see you in the next video.